Hi,
Hi.
I'm with Veeq, homie. We're going to be working on some HYDRA, mostly some website stuff. Well, I say mostly, but we've got like 3 hours before I've got to bail for some casting. So, pretty epic. And as a result of that, we're going to be doing some shit. We are talking about some sitemap navigation stuff. Roller Skates lives in Texas, so his power company was pranking him. I'm amazed you have power already, dude. As sad as that is to say. Hope everything's going okay over there. So, yeah. Pretty incredible stuff. Well, I heard that all of your shit, your power just like globally was your whole circuit was out or whatever. Oh yeah, I got to get rid of Seraph because it's clearly going to win over Argonaut. Although Argonaut does sound like a pretty Terran name, so at some point we could use that for something else. They sent an actual winter storm to fuck 70% of the country. Wait, was it really most of the states? Oh yeah, I guess there were some people who weren't in uh, Texas that got fucked by that. Somebody's vibrating me a lot. I don't know who it is. Oh yeah, I did hear about this as well, roller skates. I heard that it was just a complete disaster. They annihilated uh everybody they kept saying like, yeah, this is what we had. We're gonna have it back up in a couple hours. It's a couple hours, couple hours, couple hours. Yeah, dude, that is insane. But at least you guys have phones, just like Blizzard said earlier. What a mess. Oh shit, dude. Somebody voted I'd like to join the server. Did they join? No. Frauds. They'll fit right in whenever they do join. Meanwhile, we do have this epic poll. Cantavis winning. Hell yeah, homie. Unfortunately, Dranoleth is not winning, but that's okay. Droleth is acceptable. Seraph, of course, winning. Laneffect winning. Epic. Ooh, and we have a Cantor catching up. Yes, yes, sirree. Get rid of that stupid cataphract name. Get it out of my sight. I also noticed this is still getting some votes, and I think the gap is closing, so that might actually happen. If it concludes, I guess I can share it again. For this, I'll say vote on this before Thursday. I don't know. I'll just say that. That's when I do my next LP stream. All right, maybe people will vote on that some more because the gap. It's still technically anybody's race. What else do we got? Yeah. All right. I think everything else below this has been resolved. We've got Cleric. I think Cleric must have been the first renaming poll. Yeah. Okay. So everything's up to date. I have renamed Corsair to Laneffect and Drone to Droleth and Science Vessel to Seraph. And I haven't done this yet because I don't like the result yet. And yeah, we'll see what else we got. I haven't actually done Cantavis or anything because this just overtook the other one this morning. So. The roll outages up for us. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it stays up for you, man. That's all I can say. It's like every time you imagine the far future where you get your head in the clouds and you're like, wow, imagine in the future when humans can become Terrans and fight against Zerg here and Protoss. Isn't that going to be epic? And then you wake up without power for like 2 days. You're like, what the fuck? We can't even figure this out? We can't even build more pylons? It's over. So yeah, we've got a new font for most of this stuff. We've got the body font is different now. It's Open Sans. I think it's fine. Might be a little bit. One legitimate complaint about Roboto was that it was pretty dense. However, I think that Roboto looks really nice for headers, so we're keeping it for that. And it's more, I guess maybe it's more so that the spacing is bad for Open Sans when it comes to headers. I don't know if it's possible to decrease that either. I know you can increase spacing with that 1 pixel gap that you added, Veeq, but I don't know if it's possible to decrease the native spacing.
Yeah, it's probably possible. I am gonna check that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it would end up looking any good, but if you feel like exploring that, that is a possibility. So we're going to be revamping this page a little bit. I was just telling Veeq how my vision was something similar to the Starcraft website, where there's, or the Wikidot rather, where there's this end box, and in the end box there's a bunch of other things that you can click on. Obviously, we have something associated with this right now in the table of contents, but a lot of this stuff is actually going to be pulled out. So the FAQ and the setup are going to be pulled out to their own separate pages on the website. And then there's also going to be, I think acknowledgements will probably be its own page, just because that kind of deserves to be its own page, rather than just being appended to some other page. And then here we've got, like, there's a link to each of the tech tree pages. There's a primer that introduces you to the project. I'm not sure if global changes, maybe this should also be its own page, because it is kind of like, it is very distinct. It doesn't really fit as part of the primer or whatever. But I like the idea of essentially condensing this first section, where this is part of the primer for my money. So I almost think that maybe the primer should be like above this, and then rewritten to be as like a little bit more condensed, so that it is taking up about as much space as what we see here. And then ideally we would have a lot of these links would be on a sitemap sidebar somewhere, like maybe above or below the table of contents, so to speak. And then you can click on like news or articles or whatever. There's a couple of other like websites out there that have some things. Like this is the Campaign Creations website, which is not very functional, but you can sort of see how they have they've got a really fucking noisy mouse over effect, but you can sort of see how they have like a sitemap bar up here, so you can go to news, you can go to features, and then you get this really tiny thing, which is pretty hilarious. So that's like almost a drop down menu or whatever, and then you can go to the forums. I don't actually know what this is. Okay, this is like more drop down stuff. Yeah, this is actually pretty terrible. I thought this was better than it was, but that's pretty embarrassing. So yeah, we wouldn't want to ape off of that necessarily. But there's stuff like this up here where you've got like these top bar things, the side page, the end box, right? And then that's pretty much it. So I feel like there's ways that we can add more navigational tools to the website, and in order for those navigational tools to even make sense to add, we should probably have more pages on the website. But just in the interest of making the site a little bit more scalable, I think it makes sense. And then beyond that, we also have, I've taken the liberty of actually putting together some planning stuff here for the campaign. And I've revised some of the documentation that we were working on within Notepad++, but this is an actual public web page. It's just that accessing it is going to be a bit difficult. I've posted it in the server, but I haven't done anything else yet. So I have rewritten some of this stuff, as a bit of a writing exercise. I kind of like to take the same thing and rewrite it just to see if I still like it when I write it the second time or the third time or whatever. So that's what I did here, and that resulted in a couple of changes to the wording and whatnot, which I think was good. Obviously, we don't have a name for the project yet. I'll probably come up with some a little bit later on, and that might be a poll. We might even be picking the name of the project. So yeah, there's some of that stuff. Imagine being high priority because you're near an airbase. I guess that does make sense. So yeah, we can probably work on formatting this page a little bit later as well, but that's all right. That's something for later. And then yeah. What was the fucking to-do list or whatever? Whoa, you can't minus whatever this is. Wait, what is this? I think -1 might be a bit aggressive. I do like -0.2, but I was asking you if you could have the headers, if you were going to investigate the headers in open sans, but with the minus, with more aggressive minus spacing, maybe -1 for that.
Sure.
That might be helpful for this. Yeah, we've talked about the article web page name generation, talked about article navigation. Yeah, I guess so. I can probably just start working on the new pages. Do you think they should be organized as like other pages in the main page? So like how we have index in just as like the
I
main
feel like
page.
we need to like overhaul the entire structure somehow for it to make like
Intuitive
sense
sense,
exactly.
yeah. See,
Yeah.
I was thinking that we could have something like a folder for like site pages or something. Maybe there should be a directory for all written pages or all or something like that. So articles and news can both go in there. And then we could have like the core pages, some sort of like some term that implies that it's more related to like permanent pages on the site. And then that could be where like the FAQ is and the installation guide is and all that stuff. But you also said that you wanted to update this so that we have like a subdirectory for HYDRA specifically, which is what we would be using for the most part. But then for when like DF gets his site done, we can have that be in the DF section of the site or whatever. So what I'm thinking is like you would go to fraudsclub. You would actually want to go to fraudsclub.com specifically /HYDRA instead of just fraudsclub.com. And that would take you to HYDRA. Fraudsclub.com /darkened fantasies would take you to his page, is what I'm thinking. Like his section of the site, or whatever his URL ends up being, right? And then, yeah, I think something like that would work intuitively. Have you been taking a look at these roller skate polls or these YouTube polls, roller skates? Curious as to your take, since I know you're a concept man. Yeah, if we have to update the entire folder structure or website structure, that is going to be interesting. You should have seen the section of the previous stream where I slapped together the name Cantavis for the Templar. Because it took me like 30 or 40 minutes of smashing Latin together. But I ended up with something that I feel pretty confident in. And apparently the people agree. So yeah, I actually really like -0.2 for the
Yeah, I like a
body.
lot too.
I think that's even better. Yeah. That kind of like removes any complaints that I had about the spacing for the body. I was willing to like be fine with it, but I think it's really nice. So if you want to just throw that and push that to the side, that would be epic.
I'm just trying the header font.
Oh right, yeah. Makes sense. I muted my mic for that for the stream, but not for Veeq. So you're now infected with the coronavirus.
Oh no.
It is a little bit slower, right? Like I could have just picked any name or something, but even if this doesn't end up getting me like a proper like an epic name or whatever ends up being the final name, it's a nice like exercise to go for something that's like a consistent thematic for each race. Like Zerg are actually the easiest for me. It's like just come up with something that sounds good, but I already have like a third or a half of the unit name figured out from the fact that it's the suffix system that I developed. So that's like where a system has given me the opportunity where we have you know, like I know Rokor is melee and Lisk is ranged, and you know, Thalor is long range, and Leth is specialist, and that's why we have Droleth instead of Drone, and Avaleth instead of Overlord, and stuff like that. I think that that really helped me out a lot because that was just a system I could fall back to. And now Protoss is starting to get there in a similar way, where I have Latin names that come out and give them like this highfalutin sort of grandiose vibe, right? Like Solarian for the carrier. It's like that's a crazy fucking name compared to what you would normally expect. Um, and it actually has a meaning because I've taken like the Latin words for stuff. And yeah, it's Latin, so it's still Earth centric. Like I'm not making up my own language for this shit, but it still sounds sufficiently like like otherworldly because I'm actually like Solarian is not even that. Like, it's not even like a unique word. So Solarian does exist somewhere. Like it's the name of a bunch of different things. Apparently, it's the name of something in Diablo. I didn't know that. I knew it from Warlord's Battle Cry. There was Solarian is the Titan for that. But when I thought of the word,
hopefully it's not a plant.
wait, what happened?
Hopefully Solarian is not a plant.
No, it's yeah. Could you imagine? Because that would be the second in a row, and then we would have to go for 3.
Yep.
So yeah, so Solarian is like one of those things that is it's maybe a little bit more on the common side. But then we have something like LAN effect for the Corsair, which I haven't renamed on the website yet. And LAN effect is like that literally that is, I don't think LAN effect exists. Let's search LAN effect. Apparently there's a username generator. That's it. So that's all I found anyway. So yeah, not something that you're going to find too often. It's pretty obscure. In fact, let me start renaming LAN effect as a matter of course. Say Corsair, LAN effect. So yeah, like that's one of them that like has a meaning, but pretty epic. I will jump into here for Corsair LAN effect. Oops. And then of course I get to fill out the new information that we have. Oops. I kind of think it's kind of funny, right? I've just realized as well, one of the first things that I wanted to change about the Corsair unit is that it doesn't really interact very often with ground units. Like Disruption Whip is super, like it's literally fire and forget. It's like inconsistent or whatever, if that makes any sense. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I sent you the headers, and I also sent you how I imagined the website structure would look like.
Okay, awesome. I'll take a look in a second. And then we have origin. And this is, or no, I need formerly known as the Corsair.
Baby.
Oh, that is kind of weird. Yeah, if you imagine like, I mean, Decurion is still a powerful name, but it is a little bit more on the awkward side in terms of the curvature that you normally hear with Protoss names, or that I normally imagine with Protoss names. But maybe that is like an ideal and not something that is reflected by reality as well. I'm not 100% sure. It's time for my epic comparing and contrasting game, where I pop open. Oh wait, no. Control N, of course. Protoss Corsair, 150, 75, 25, 25. Yeah, so we'll say minus 25 gas cost, minus 20 HP. That needs to jump over there. I don't remember if there was anything else changed. I wonder why Corsairs have a hard-coded acquisition range. Not really hard-coded, but a manually set acquisition range instead of... That's something I have never noticed. Or never realized. Because their weapon range is only 5. I guess that's probably why, because I wanted them to move to attack. That's probably got something to do with why Corsairs are so annoying to use. Like, if you don't hold position them. I mean, that would be the main reason. I think that's everything. They're medium. Oh, they're small in Hydra. Small size from medium. And then I'm not sure about their weapon. We take a look at the website for that. 1x5, 0.333, because 3, 5 range, 550, 100, and it's explosive. Okay. Yeah, so that's it. Go ahead and save that. And then I can say rename Corsair to LAN effect and add new fields, I suppose. That is funny about Cantavis, though. I see a Twitter account named Cantavis, but nothing else. Everything else is like Cantavos or something.
So I actually wanted to ask you, do you... Huh?
Something happened to the Corsair page. Oh, no, because it's not Corsair anymore.
Ah.
There we go. What were you about to ask?
So I wanted to ask you if you remember, did we actually keep the hydraulic range upgrade, or did we remove it?
No, we removed it.
Do you think that was... Jesus. Do you think it is a good decision? I was wondering, what do you think about that?
Well, I do think that Hydralisks struggle as the game progresses, but that's kind of why I think it's good that we made Bactylisks attack air units and the concussive damage not matter as much for attacking non-small units. Like, it deals more damage overall. I do like that. I think it's fine for them to specialize into that. Like, maybe there could be a third morph from the Hydralisk that is more about, like, just a straightforward eye attack, grounded air units with a higher range. But it's still, like, maybe it would be a normal damage unit or something. I don't really know. But I think if we were... What I was concerned about is if we give them both of their upgrades, so we give them movement speed and we give them attack range... But by default, they probably dominate a lot of matchups and become, like, I think, too powerful for what a tier 1 unit really is meant to be, which is why I opted to give them more mobility, particularly more mobility than Bactylisks or Lurkers or Lakizalisks now. They have more mobility than their superior morphs, so to speak. I think if I was going to change anything about them, I would probably want to push them more in that direction, actually. I probably want to give them even more movement speed or something. Like, maybe give them... plus 75% instead of plus 50. And my reasoning for that is I like the fact that you can kind of use them almost like these brawling type units where they can just get in real close and attack. They can get out of each other's way. It's not really as much of a disadvantage that they have a short range when you can just micro and move them around a little bit more and have them close the gap. But I suppose that is a little bit of a different combat like role than most people could think about Hydralisks having, if that makes sense. So... yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that would look like, but I think Hydralisks feel really good as a swarming unit, like when you just have a ton of them, and a way to improve their ability to synergize with themselves, essentially, is to give them a little bit more movement speed so that they can close in on targets even faster. And since they deal explosive damage, like a lot of the units that they're going to be closing in on aren't necessarily going to be able to. I don't know. I feel like they're in an okay position right now, even though they do struggle in the late game when you're up against like a lot of other units or whatever. So I'm not 100% sure if it needs to be addressed, but it is something I have thought about before. Is like I wonder if the range upgrade is something that should be like worked back into them or whatever.
Right.
So
they also have fuzz about the header text, like the font.
Hold on. Just making sure LAN effect is actually the name. Yeah, okay. We look good. What's up, Barack? Well, if I compare that to the main page. It's pretty similar. The main differences come from like the curvature of certain letters. Like I don't really like the T in Open Sans. I feel like it's kind of noisy, but it is going to be more consistent now. So
Right.
it's kind of a trade-off there. I think either since Roboto isn't that much of a difference compared to Open Sans, it doesn't really make sense to have two separate fonts that are like basically the same thing, which is something you voiced yesterday. So maybe we go with this for now, with that spacing, like essentially the same way that you have it. But with the like earmarking, like eventually we're going to be replacing this with a more interesting font, I guess, like a font that is actually more sensible. And I guess for the mouse over of units, we probably want the spacing to be condensed by like maybe 0.5 or maybe 1 or something. I don't know. We can experiment with different pixel densities for that, because the like Roboto was much better for like mousing over units. It just the field was less noisy, like the whole thing was took less space essentially.
Right.
So yeah, if you want to push the font change and stuff, that seems fine. Looks like you already did.
No, I haven't.
Oh, maybe Roboto capital S's are just goofy.
I'm thinking about the commit name.
More like Robito. That's your commit name. Okay. So we have all that. We've updated LAN effect. Oh, I think I have to update yeah, I have to update Drakadine. Too bad that Drakadine guy is like nowhere to be seen. Maybe he'll come by later. Maybe he'll join the
Okay,
server.
boost.
Okay. Epic. Now I've got to rename the unit. One of the few units that doesn't have a passive. All right, let's jump down here. We'll say notes. Did I actually add a... I wonder what it looks like over here. Okay, yeah. Didn't add a period. I think it looks better that way.
And what do you think about the new structure I sent you?
Oh yeah, I haven't actually properly looked at that. Give me one sec. Where's my Veeq7? Oh yeah, did you see my message about?
Oh yeah, the pilot stuff.
Yeah. Okay, phase disruptor normal and dragoon. 100. Glad this is just wrong. Reasonable. Site 8, space 4, supply 2, time 30, 125.50. Yeah, all these stats seem correct. There's a long time where the back when it was called the Dragoon, on the website entry didn't even have like the gas cost for it. It's just, I think it was copied from the Zealot or something, but it was really strange. So we'll say minus 1.25 time cost. That seems to be the main thing. Oh, I missed looking at the armor. Now I've got to look at this again. Yeah, armor is also hooked. Okay, and then we look at the weapon. I don't think the weapon has changed. 120, 125. Oh, the range is 6. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Oh, and I forgot about this. Line break. Okay. All right. Let's check out my Dracadian. Okay. I'm also going to remove the bold text in the Wraith entry. So I feel like that is kind of shit. It's kind of nice for emphasis, but it's just too destructive, I think. There, remove bold. Okay, let's take a look at your structure here. So what is the... This navigation that you sent me is a mock-up of what the first page will look like, or something else?
Now it's just the file structure.
Oh, okay. So the first folder will be like source stuff, essentially, that we don't need to, like, only developers would need to ever look at. Web developers. We don't, like, you interact with those normally.
And it also would be shared for all the subfolders,
Yep.
so it would be much more maintainable.
Yeah, yeah. And then we've got the HYDRA main page and the HYDRA subpages. Okay. News, articles, sites. I like sites as the the name for that. It's probably a... Yeah, I guess that's probably fine. I don't know. It might be a better name somewhere. But yeah, this seems totally fine. I don't think there's any, like, there's nothing that looks glaringly obvious as like a miss or whatever. Oh, did you slip and fall on some ice, homie? Or are you just practicing the getting destroyed thing? Oh yeah, I gotta like my own poll. I keep forgetting that. Artifact. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only other name that I would rename on the site would be Cantavis, but still a pretty tight race, so. That is pretty epic. Didn't expect that one. Trying to think about what else would be the what else would be appropriate for being renamed. I was thinking Atreus could probably be renamed to something more interesting, but I don't know what that would look like. Check out my robotic support Trolleth. Annihilated.
Nice.
Well, it's a good thing I can find all instances of Droleth. Find all. Okay, we have many different kinds of Droleth. So it looks like Clarion, Golem, and Idol. Didn't see that until just now. Idol. Okay. And then what else? All this other stuff is Zerg. Okay. Fix that. That was brutality. All right. So we've done that. We can figure out what's next to do. I hope people will figure out how to use the fucking locker room bouncer boy to their advantage here. It is a little ridiculous that like a bunch of people join the server and they just say they stay in the server for like a week sometimes if I let them, if I don't kick them first. But they don't do anything. Like they don't fill out the form. They don't have access to any server or any channel besides the fucking initial one when they join. So like when you join, you only see the locker room bouncer boy. And there's a bunch of other people who have filled out the form that you can see the history of. Like, I don't get it. I agree. So yeah, I don't get that one. Somehow people are prankers. Well, if you already use Discord, there's plenty of people who just lurk or whatever. Wow, we have Magister, one who magists? Unacceptable. I'm looking forward to... Oh yeah, I was thinking we need to rename Robotics Facility and Robotics Authority because those are Well, facility anyway is a terrible name. It's like science facility. What's up, Terran Dominion? Good morning. Yeah, so I was thinking we should get a list of things that we need to rename, right? So we're gonna rename Marine, Ghost. What else? Oh, I think I didn't add the new fields to the Cleric. Yeah. They definitely need it. But I know we're going to rename those. If we take a look at the unit def down here, I'm going to rename Firebat. And then I guess everything else we already have a poll for Protoss, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, it's Marine, Ghost, Firebat. Those are the next like Terran units to get renamed. But for buildings, oh boy. Supply Depot, Command Center, Engineering Bay, Science Facility. Those for sure need to go. And then we've got Robotics Facility. And then Robotics Authority by extension. Yeah, Firebat to Ackman. I did consider that. I do think tactical platform is kind of also boring, but that's an iterative unit anyway, so. I think refinery is kind of lame. Curious about Wraith. I'm not sure if Wraith will survive. That's a unit that I feel like is a little bit more adequately named because Wraith does kind of imply that phantasmal aspect or whatever. I don't know. It'd be fine. Oh yeah, some of the Zerg building names are pretty despicable. Lair, Hive. I think Hatchery makes perfect sense. But Lair is like, why? And if I end up removing Lair from like the Hatchery Lair Hive thing, I could use it as like Zorius Lair or Isthraith Lair or something. Where it would make more sense for like a layer of a kind of unit instead of it just being like, I guess Hive also is a little bit better, but I don't know. Sways away from the insect vibe, yeah. Well, the tier 5 hatchery was going to be called the Brood, which is related to insects. I also kind of like I like the fact that there's colonies because colony is like a bacteria colony almost. Like that's kind of what it makes me think of. So they're probably like bacterial terms, but I'm definitely in agreement. I think layer could go. We wouldn't see too much of a like that wouldn't be a loss. Nidus Canal is kind of interesting. I like that it's a canal instead of like whatever else it could be. So I guess the main issue is like hatchery into layer into hive. It is pretty ingrained in my head, but whatever. We've renamed a bunch of other units, so shouldn't be that big of a deal. Oh, that should be matral nest, not matrolith nest. All right, fix that. So, yeah. Let me add the new fields for the cleric. Let's say notes. A physics lab isn't even used right now, but I agree that it's kind of boring. It's at least like, so I was talking with Veeq about this yesterday. it's at least a specific field of science, sort of like how engineering is at least not just science bay. Like science facility is so fucking dumb because it just describes the existence of a tech structure. There's another one. I think cybernetics core. Like, I guess it makes sense because you would use cybernetics to handle the placement of dragoons, now dracodins, in like the shell or whatever. Like that kind of makes sense, but it doesn't fit with everything else that I've gone for the Protoss. Like we've got Ancestral Effigy, we've got Archon Archives instead of Templar Archives, but that's like a library or whatever. Sanctum of Sorrows, like Sanctum, it's sanctified, sacred in some way. Citadel of Adun was always something that was a little bit more like, oh, interesting. I guess Principality is kind of boring. I mean, maybe not necessarily boring, but it doesn't tap into that like more religious aspect, and certainly could. So Cybernetics Core feels the most out of place, though, out of all of them. And since it's unlocking Hierophants specifically, I kind of like the idea that that we would have something like that. I don't know. It's not Blizzard cringe, at least, yeah. No, so Centaurs now are trained from the Nanite Assembly, the same with Minotaurs, and the Pegasus was removed. So beforehand, you had Pegasus or Pegasi and Centaurs trained from an add-on, a Starport add-on, Starport with a physics lab. But I felt like 3 add-ons was kind of pushing it, so I ended up reformatting that a bit. And I moved the Salamander down to a Starport with Munitions Bay. Now the Munitions Bay kind of feels a bit overloaded because obviously you're dealing with 3 units getting unlocked, but virtually nobody actually builds Valkyries. That's not really a reason. Like, it's not really a good thing or whatever, but we might end up like, we're going to end up reworking the Valkyrie at some point. So, but yeah. But yeah, I think Cybernetics Core could definitely use like another look-see. I like Machinist Hall and Automaton Register and Strident Stratum and Synthetic Synod. I think like these work out pretty well. Besides the fact that there's like some alliteration here with the STR and the SY. Oh, SYN actually. It's even more than I thought. Yeah, I feel like Arbiter Tribunal, right? Like now it's Didact Tribune, but all of these had like more interesting names than something like Cybernetics Core. I think Fleet Beacon is kind of similar, where it doesn't have the same sort of sense of royalty or nobility or like just grandiosity in general. So yeah, I think maybe we might rename the Fleet Beacon as well. I'll put it on this list, and maybe some of this stuff might not get renamed at the end of the day, but it's just, these are things that I've been thinking about, is like, if we're gonna be going as far as renaming like the Phalanx, right? Like the siege tank is no longer called the siege tank. That's like an example of like, holy shit, we're really going far. Like, we're renaming workers. In fact, all 3 workers have been renamed by now, which is pretty crazy. I think maybe on the website it's still Probe. That's because I didn't come up with an artisan name yet, but oh, I guess what I can do right now actually is fire up the old Latin translator of Google Translate, and we can do we can do a name for the new probe, or the tier 2 worker. So I'm thinking something like related to architect, right? Like obviously that could work. We'll say architect, and we have artifacts, edificator, mensor. Yeah, this is like where edifice comes from. That could definitely be something related to it. We can do automaton. Okay, we'll do robot, maybe. Maybe there's a term for that, or drone. Mindless, maybe. Maybe we want something that that implies, I don't know, maybe it could just be like, well, okay, now we're going to go another layer of abstraction deep. There's no word for robot or anything like that in Latin. So what would a robot actually be like if we had to make a Latin word for robot? It would be something like self, like a self-driving or self. So there would be something like I think automatic literally means like auto is self or something like that. Like auto, what does auto do? Yeah, auto is self. So I don't know what Matan is, but like this could also work. This could obviously work. Mongolus. I like that idea. All right, so we have auto as like a main obvious word, but what would the other component of that be? Because we Yeah, I don't think we can really use auto reliably. I mean, maybe we could use auto. It's just that it feels a little like played out almost. So I probably want to do something like we do auto. I do self here. What do we get? We don't even get auto as a self. We could do like, oh yeah, because sua for suicide, for example, that makes sense. Like self-side, self-kill. So sua would work. Okay, so we'll do like self is sua, and then what were the other ones? There's only that one, which I probably won't be using. And then we want like, is there a word for machine maybe? Oh, machine. Just machina. Okay, not really my favorite. Oh, maybe engine. That might work. Organ. Self organ. I don't know about that one. What about brain? Oh yeah, mind. Let's do mind. So we've got mens, animus, sensus. Sagacitus. So we can imagine something like our robot word, our made up robot word would be like our class of thinking automatons would be like self mind or whatever. So we would have like sua sense or I don't know. I kind of like Sagacitus just like by itself, but it's a bit wordy for Protoss, so. Like maybe suascens or something. I'm trying to come up with a word that I can then use as another compound word with something from the architect thing, like artifacts. So we would have like, yeah, I don't know. This doesn't really give me much here, I think. We probably want more. Condicio. I guess we could work part of Genesis into it, even though it's obviously like also an English word. I am kind of tempted to use tetragram, but that is a little epic. It's literally like the name of God. Okay, so can't do that. I like creature, or however you would pronounce that one. So maybe we do. Yeah, there's nothing really powerful coming out from like combinations of self and mind. Self-creating, on the other hand, might be something. So we could do like maybe suicond. Yeah, I'm not coming up with anything good off of that, so we probably will just drop that. Unless I can come up with something like... Oh, almost wrote Biff. Rimtech would be proud. See, we're getting some powerful words now, I think. We can end up using this. I like Cordis for breaking out. Rising. Like, rising gives you that feeling. I guess Ordis is also like this. It's like rising up, like erecting a building, you know? Something like that, which makes sense for our worker, right? So we could totally do, like, just something from, like, Self-Birth or... Obviously, auto is in here as well if we wanted to do something like that, like autocourt. Autocourt doesn't sound too bad. It's probably the strongest one we've gotten so far. Erectus, just like AoE 2. Autocourt might just be the best one, to be honest. I'm not seeing any other like obvious compound things or whatever. Just because like the other two words for self are not great, right? So maybe we can come up with like... Is there one for ego? No. Is there one for... Body? Corporus. Yeah, I don't know. I like how body, when you type body, the second option is body shaming, followed by body weight. Why? Why is this like this? Rest in peace, Roller Skates. He said 3, and that was his last message. He had to, I think his power went out again. What's up, Alexander? Oh no, the gap is closed. People have to vote Cantavis, quick. Did you get destroyed by the... whatever that cut was? The Snyder cut? I don't know if you even saw that, or if you were just memeing in general. Because the Snyder Justice League or no, Suicide Squad 2021 or whatever. Oh, the trailer opened up with the Joker saying "We live in a society," which was pretty hilarious. Well, if it is fake, they did a pretty good job of having the audio cued. Yeah, maybe it was maybe it doesn't open up with that, but I believe that line is spoken by the Joker. I think that makes sense. Skeleton. Ooh, monogram. That's a name. Probably better for... Oh, Protoss monogram doesn't sound too bad, but I feel like Terran monogram is probably better. Just off the top of my head if I had to come up with a flow. Although monogram could even be the name of like another race, to be honest. Like... Monogram Siren. Although, what does gram mean, then? It's like a suffix or something? Something written, drawn, or otherwise recorded. Okay. I kind of like autogram in that case, because that would literally mean, like, self-drawn or self-recorded. But I think autocort sounds better as a name. Autogram doesn't really have the same, like, autogram. I guess maybe if you say it with, like, a really pronounced T. Protoss autogram. Protoss autocort. I guess neither... Like, both of them have kind of weak endings. But one means self-rising and the other means self-recording. So they both could fit the term. It doesn't sound epic enough. I mean, we are talking about just a worker. So it's not like... Doesn't need to be intense, but... Monogrammatic by launching sharpened pencils at you. We could, I mean, if we wanted to go full Latin, we could go autosius, which would be self-skeleton, self-framework. I guess is fine. I'm just trying to go for something that's like autonomous and a builder, right? So I guess we could go for like odd effects. From artifacts and auto. Or Su effects. Autocator. I kind of like Autocator the most. Feels the most like the name of a device of some sort. Autocator. Although it also kind of sounds like... I got to be honest about the whole autocator almost sounds like judicator, you know what I mean? It sounds like a rank a Protoss would have. Autocort is... That was my first choice as well. Like the first thing that I wrote down that I thought was actually useful. Like everything else is pretty terrible, in my opinion. But I'm not sure. The question is if do we want autocator or... I don't know. Autocator kind of sounds like... I don't know. Does it sound too fan fiction-y now that I'm thinking about it? Like, because it's like, oh, judicator, yeah, autocator, you know, robot judicator, autocator. I don't know. It's starting to sound almost like 8th grade cringe or something, you know, like elementary. But that would be like my idea of a robot council or something. It's like autocator. Whereas if we're not using it in that context, then it doesn't sound as fanfiction-y, obviously. But interested in people's thoughts for that one. So I guess autocourt can be the oh, Hikatan is apparently Hikatan is a mythological thing. The tier 2 worker, because that was originally called artisan, but obviously I have to rename that, right? So thinking apparently it's like a D&D monster or something, or character. Hikatan. I'm trying to come up with like essentially a poll for that, right? So we would have autocourt as like the Latin version. So Hikatan is probably Terran then. Back to Thesaurus we go.
And you shouldn't actually comment any changes because I'm just like overhauling the file structure, so it will break stuff.
I haven't committed anything in a while.
That's good.
In 24 minutes, so that was just me fixing the name of the matral nest.
Oh, I fetched 30 minutes ago, so I guess that change won't go.
I mean, you can like cancel it or whatever, and we can just fix it later.
Yeah, sure.
I'll handle the. I'll still be working on stuff, but I'll wait to push it until later, so I can just like copy the file and paste it into the new one or whatever. Maybe scribe. Scribe might be the. Maybe scribe is for the regular worker. What do we think about Protoss scribe instead of probe, and then artisan can just be the same as it already is? What do you guys think of that? That's a poll, I think. I think scribe makes a lot more sense as probe. So then we have either artisan or my fucking goofy name, autocourt. But should there be like another option for scribe though? Probably not, in my imagination, but oh, maybe I'll just put artisan as the secondary one for probe. People can vote between artisan or probe, and then if artisan wins the probe poll, then I'll come up with some other term. Because scribe does feel like a little bit more basic, so I wouldn't want to use that for the secondary worker, but there you go. The poll, by the way, the probe. Craftsman is fine. Scribe a. Okay, we have scribe and artisan. Boom. Epic. All right, let me fill out the differences for the medic now. Medic cleric. We've got plus 10 HP. Plus 1 armor. Oh no, armor was the same. Ranked. D25 minus 3.75 times cost. One who inscripts or inscribes. You can't verb me. Oh, I gotta get rid of their energy. Well, I've got the cleric changes written out, but obviously I'll hold for a moment. So in the background, Veeq is working on the website organization, which is probably not going to be visible to most people, but will eventually allow us to get a lot of other things taken care of, which is nice.
Oh, it actually worked. I like the pool marriage correctly.
Oh, epic.
I'm surprised by that.
As interceptor. I guess I should also formerly known as the medic.
Okay, and now I have to delete every fucking file from the remote server, and that will take a while.
Epic. Oh, does that mean the site's down or whatever? No.
Yeah.
Is it? Seems fine.
Yeah, it should be down for a moment.
I'm moving around it a lot, so seems fine.
Oh, it probably didn't delete the page files yet.
Ah, okay. So, pardon our appearance during construction. Okay. Got my my junk in here. Oh, I guess you haven't pushed your side of things just yet. What is fuck? Nice. I didn't even know we had that many files in here. That's impressive.
It's mostly the GPTP dog thing.
Yeah, probably.
And
Thank you
also
for your
the
service,
icon.
Terran Dominion. What'd you say? You?
It's probably the icons too.
Oh yeah, the U is like me trying to figure out some weird formatting. I think. I don't recall. I think my U was not related to that though. What was my U?
No, I just posted it because it looks hilarious.
Yeah. My U I guess my U commits were that. It was me like trying to figure out the naming convention or something.
All right.
Yeah, I think for some of those articles, it doesn't really make like that's where we would probably prefer to have them in the sites subsection for like the campaign planning, because it just doesn't really make sense to have a date on that since it's going to be worked on over the course of a long time. So, or it's just a permanent thing that's timeless or whatever.
I wonder if having news and articles separated has a lot of sense.
Articles were slated to be like almost like a blog post or whatever, where I would come up
and
with
news,
something that's like, I would just write some shit down that's not really newsworthy. It's not like an announcement, but it's like something I wanted to write. I just haven't used it for
right.
that particular purpose yet, but that's eventually where it's going to go. So I think that's fine. Okay, so got this. I guess instead of disruption, I should probably use the chaos one, because disruption's a bit on the nose. And then we have Solarian. Okay. All right, well, I've got some small changes to push whenever that's done. And then what else do we got? Got that scribe versus artisan one. Yeah, cool. We still need to come up with something for a marine. That's going to be a challenging one. I'm thinking we probably want like at least 2 or 3 like mythological or really old historical like archers or something. Although Wild West Gunslingers. Let's see what we got. It would be a bit odd to have Outlaw as the name of the fucking Marine, but Outlaw does have a ring to it. But it just doesn't really fit the name there. If we're gonna go into the Wild West mythology, so to speak, the mythos. Could work. Hey, look, my brother's an outlaw. He baked a lot of banana bread or something. Yeah, it's not really it's sort of like Southpaw, but I kind of like Terran Blackjack. That might work somewhere. Not for Marine, obviously, but that might be like a high tier infantry unit or something. List of cowboys. I wonder if we rename the barracks to be Frontier, just for the sake of this too. Terran Frontier.
I wonder if we should actually make the frames folder separate per project.
Yeah, because DF will have his own icons, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that'll have to be moved around. Maybe Western Lawman would actually make a bit more sense for something like this. Could be Terran Sheriff. Terran Deputy. Ooh, Terran Deputy. Check that one out. Deputy Dad. Although it would be weird to have them named after a rank and then their rank below just says private. So that doesn't really make sense. But Texas Ranger. New Sweden, by the way. Terran Colonist. Terran Pilgrim.
Do you remember how to actually log into the how is it called, the terminal? The SSH?
Let's me. I'll search my DMs here. Looks like I was able to log in with just the frauds CL username and the SSH key.
Shell access is not enabled on your account. Oh, they disabled it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Does it say failed to retrieve list of SSH authentication methods?
No, it says that the SSH connection is not enabled on the account.
Where do we? I forget where we went for that stuff. How do I get out of my? Oh, I guess this. I don't know. It won't let me close the. Okay, there we go.
Maybe it's talking about my Veeq account. Not sure.
Where are you
Like
going
on
to log
the
in?
channel. I was
We logged in through Putty. We didn't log in through the cPanel.
Yeah, I just deleted my folder from public HTML because I need to. So maybe that's the thing.
Oh,
Maybe that broke it. I don't know why would it be in public HTML folder though.
yeah, your guess is as good as mine. Hopefully, you're able to get it back.
Oh no, because I actually use the like the root login for the SSH stuff, so I don't know.
I guess I can try it, but you were able to do it with that setup before.
Yeah, maybe they just disabled the access. I remember you had to actually write to the support, so I don't know.
I'll launch putty. Hold on. I don't actually know how to do this normally. I forget. Oh, I need to find my private key file, wherever the fuck that is.
Right.
Do I download it or something? I feel like that's something that we had to do before. SSH access. Manage SSH keys. You download. Download key. Open. It doesn't open anything when I hit open, so. Is it supposed to? I'm trying to open using putty, but it doesn't do anything.
I should, so I'm not sure. I mean, it works for me, but I can't log in for some reason.
Oh, do I need to put in my remote host?
Yeah, maybe.
What is it? Is it just fraudsclub.com?
Yeah, try that.
Nope.
Okay, try this address.
No. What is yours in putty? In connection?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Do you have it as auto or IP version? Internet protocol version?
Where is it?
In this connection button here.
Oh, I don't actually type anything in this. I just use in the session. I type the address.
Where do you get session?
It's the first category.
Oh. So you do this. SSH. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what is the password again? Is it just the same thing that we have pinned?
You need the SSH key from the site.
Oh, so then I just log in with that SSH key.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Well, doesn't let me control V, so. Yeah. What a mess. That doesn't work? Oh. Well, it's signed to your desktop, it looks like.
This is really.
Yeah. At the end of the key, it says Veeq at desktop and then a serial number.
That's weird. Can you screen it?
Yeah, I acquire there are tons of units that don't have name changes. I think most original units won't be changed, especially if you count structures. Maybe it's like closer to half if you don't, if you're just counting units.
Maybe.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's gonna take it. It's the site's down for a sec. Forgot about that. Oh, that's right. That was me being an idiot, I think. Wait, what? Passphrase? Holy shit, dude, I forget all sorts of stuff, apparently. What is this? What would the passphrase even be? Oh, I guess this does work. Okay, that's why. Alright, well. Whoa, don't say that. I don't know why it's like this. Time to go find my inter-server support. Yeah. Sub Ultralisks. There's not really two types of Protoss. It's more that like there's a set of Protoss that are robotic, that are autonomous, and those come from the robotics branch. And then there's like obviously Protoss in the air and Protoss on the ground that are like manned. What would you call it? Like a manned drone of some sort. So you'd have stuff like. You'd have stuff like the Drakadin now, the Dragoon, that obviously is a living entity inside the shell, right? So that's like a main thing. I have been brutalized by inter-server live chat where I am number 1 in the queue, but my wait time is 32 minutes. Pretty hilarious. Speaking of waiting, I will be right back. I gotta use the bathroom. At some point, Veeq will return and yell at you guys.
Yep.
BRB. You.
Hi.
All right, 1 sec. They got back to me, of course, predictably, like as soon as I left. I'll also ask if there's a way to guarantee that this won't happen again, because obviously it's pretty shit.
Yeah, true.
So, but hopefully everything works out pretty easily. In the meantime, what did you think of, I don't know if you noticed our poll for the scribe versus artisan for the probe?
No, I haven't. Let me see.
Like, artisan could be better for that, but I'm also thinking like artisan's probably going to get reserved for the second, like the tier 2 worker or whatever, since it's like more masterful or more expert or whatever. Whereas scribe is like still pretty thematic. Like it makes me think of like the Egyptian times or something. But
Okay, I think the both names are pretty good for pro, but I'm leaning more towards artesian just because of the pronunciation.
well, it's
But
artisan, not
I can
artesian.
see.
So you got destroyed entirely.
Okay, but I can see where where scribe is actually better for the basic worker.
It's also like one syllable, which works for probe, scribe. They both end in BE. I don't know. There's some synergy there between the original
So
and
yeah,
the
I will
new.
actually vote on scribe just because of the fact of being better for a basic worker.
Yeah, I think it fits better. Oh, I got bedinged. I kind of like the unit name Pioneer, but it is literally one who pioneers. So it's like an action verb that is itself. Can't have that. And I also think stuff like ending any word in man, like frontiersman or rifleman, is obviously not going to work. Too dumb. IMO. There's got to be some name for like an enforcer or something. Like a bouncer, maybe? I don't know. Something for people who were in a saloon back in the day. Imagine being named John Slaughter. List of Arizona Rangers. Can't have Ranger either. It's not only is it boring, but it's also one who ranges. That's not even a prank like the Gladiator one was. And officer, one who offices. Terran private. What a mess. Yeah, I didn't find anything in the old west side of things, but so when you have shell access, by the way, what are you able to do with it?
Well, I needed it for recursive delete, but actually their web client for FTP works as well for that, apparently. Because I'm using WinSTP, which is notoriously slow for deleting multiple files.
Right.
Is it just deleting them one by one?
Okay. Still no bidding. What's up, Patrick? How you doing, homie? I think the Discord server poll is going to be pretty useful because I can just throw that in there whenever. I can like share that in the future and stuff. Oh no, it's pulling 26,000 files.
I'll have Mars soon, so please wait.
Destroyed. HYDRA is going pretty well. We're getting the website back up and running. I'm on the text line with the domain providers support network thing. Mostly lately, we've been focusing on renaming some stuff and getting things thematically consistent ahead of a single player campaign. While it's co-optional, you'll have the opportunity to play as essentially fill in however many allies you have with humans. Were you around, Veeq, when I was talking about my vision for the first mission?
No, I don't think so.
So I was thinking it's actually going to be something crazy, like a 2 versus 6 or something like that, where obviously you wouldn't start off with 6 enemies, but I want to stress the idea that AI can and will arrive in the middle of a battle, like in the middle of a conflict, and start setting up. So they'll sort of spawn in, I guess. But it's not gonna they're not gonna spawn in with a million units. It'll be like they've got to build their first hatchery from scratch, and they'll have like a small escort or whatever. But the thinking is that you could just like smack those out as soon as possible, right? So my thinking is we would start things off. The player in if it's a single player experience, which most people are going to play it in single player, you're going to start off with like just a nexus and a couple workers, like classic melee, maybe like one pylon or something like I don't know, but you'll have like very limited starting stuff. And the idea is that you get to build up from scratch, which is something that you're going to have to be familiar with in this campaign. So it's good to get started in early. Then in the your AI ally will have an actual something of a starting pre-placed base. They're not going to have a huge army, that's the main thing, but they will have something like, you know, maybe a couple forges, maybe a single gateway, maybe a robotics facility. But my thinking is they have to pivot into robotics tech, like not really have to, but the narrative is that this player is like they don't have a large portion of like, you know, Templar at the ready to go. So they need to make, you know, they need to go for robotics, essentially. That's what they're going to do. So their build is going to be centered around getting a lot of robotics facilities up and trying to overwhelm the enemy with a large number of like autonomous units, which will be a major sticking point going into the like the later stages of things, where you're probably going to have that come back to bite them in a way. It's like that goes back to the narrative of like, or the backing of the Protoss in this setting is they're not really big fans of using robotic like soulless contraptions to wage war. They would prefer to use them for information gathering or some sort of utility thing like the envoy moving around their armada and stuff like transports, right? Or witnesses, or obviously the scribes, presumably, if that goes the way of the poll, the way it currently is, the workers. So they prefer to use them in these like utilitarian roles as opposed to actually dealing damage with them directly. And that's because they sort of have this like honorable view of combat. So that since that's sort of their racial backing, the fact that we're already pivoting to robotics should kind of, I'm hoping to communicate that it's kind of a desperate thing, that even the guy who's leading that particular player's base, like that the captain of that area, the Protoss leader, is not going to be feeling good about that. Like he'll even say like, this is a terrible sight, the fact that we're caught unawares like this or whatever, and I have to pivot to robotics and use them like that. He's gonna see it as like a bad thing, like a failing of his ability. Like so he should have been there, you know, he should have like been able to see it or whatever. So I kind of want to like have that be in the dialogue, so to speak. All right, can you try connecting to SSH?
Sure. I've pushed the changes, by the way. Yeah, I was able to.
So I'm asking them why it was disabled to begin with.
Do you have like a chat, or are you?
Yeah, it's a text chat.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so the changes should be pushed, no?
To the website, you mean?
Yeah, to the repo.
Let me go back to get version
I
control.
put them on the website.
Okay. Well, upon verification only, we will make it enable. Thanks, dude. EVE Online stream? Wait, what? Let's take a look. I guess that's autofilled or something. Well, it should be fixed now anyway. Not really sure why that happened. Well, it says, this person said, don't worry, it won't BW disabled again.
Well,
they really care. All right, well, here we go, boys. Site's back online. Have we tried the less density in the names yet, or no? You were just like redoing everything, right?
that's already in.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, we can have a really obvious case of it fucking up in the robotics facility mouse over, so I don't know what you want to do about that. Aren't you? I knew I forgot people for testing. Oh yeah, I think I put together the acknowledgements page when you were taking your sabbatical to do a bunch of other stuff. All right, hold on. Let me find HYDRA, data, units, Protoss, Solar. Oh, fuck. I didn't want to get simulacrums. All right. There we go. Now, I think I need this open or this. My cleric thing is missing. Actually, all of my stuff is missing somehow. Oh, it's because they're stashed. That's why.
Right.
Oh, that's okay. I can just fix them manually here. So, an engineer of destruction. Directed paladin.
I guess I should message DF that we can add his side.
If he's ready for it, yeah. And cleric. So is the primary index... Oh, is this in... Yeah, okay. What should I just credit you as Knight of the Realm? Or testing, and what was the other one? Sexual contributions. I guess it should be endless, isn't it? You've been around for a while. No, I mean, if people have actually been contributing for a while, they should be credited, so don't feel awkward about saying, where am I?
I was actually wondering why didn't you mention the plugin development on my side, but I figured it's probably the length of my credit. So
What happened? Oh, it's part of tool development, IMO.
oh, okay.
That's why, like, Iquor is also tool development, even though he's been doing... I mean, I guess I could say programming as well.
Yeah, I guess so.
Now you have the longest thing.
Yep.
Moving anything else from the website to Wiki.app? Probably the installation guide, yeah. That's going to be something later on. Yeah, I think you're on this list somewhere. If you're not, you should be. Yeah, you should be, yeah. You should be, right with Folka. Is Connor still on this list somewhere? Yeah, he is, okay. There you go. Iquare, what the fuck is the attack extender at this point, dude? We've tried like 6 different solutions, so if we have to remake the entire AI attack logic, then that's what we have to do. But I don't know anybody who would. That's something where, like, I'm pretty sure Veeq would be interested in exploring that, just because he's usually pretty good about updating our stuff. Once we actually get it implemented, like, that's something. But yeah. It will never end until we solve it. Yeah. Like, what more solutions could there be? You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know what's left. That's what gets me, man. Oh, shit. We have Terran Dominion. He's a man. And he's Patrick. Hero of Lemons. Whoa! That's not what I wanted to do. Oh, projects. Project HYDRA. I like that one. Check this out. Okay. Test site. Epic. Let me move the campaign planning to the sites section then.
Sure. You should keep the header and the footer the same as it is in the test site, by the way.
Okay. Wonder if I've been emailed or something. I sense vibrations. Well, scribe is like 1 syllable, ends in BE, just like probe, and is a little bit more like artisan is very like, whoa, grandiose, man, crazy. But if you think artisan still fits better, I mean, feel free to vote for it. Artisan's otherwise going to be probably going to win out over my Latin butcher name of Autocourt. You voted for Homeworld that you've never played it? Yeah, I thought that AoE 2 would also be better than what it was, but you know, the campaign ended up being pretty despicable, TBH. Wait, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I'm sites, test site. And then so basically just replace everything in here, right? Just take this and put it. Whoa. The fuck? Surely this should all be. Moved over. I guess we don't need that anymore. There's a way to center stuff, right? I forget how. probably like alignment or something. Let me look at the main index. There's probably something in here. Yeah, class equals center text standard header. Is this available in sites?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's try that. And then I guess, should we have a field for hidden articles so that they don't show up?
Well, I guess you can add a prefix underscore, and then I would just make it ignore the underscores then.
Okay. HYDRA campaign planning. And then so in articles, just have underscore at the beginning for the folder.
Yeah.
Okay. Move campaign planning to sites. I've pushed that, and you can ignore underscores at whenever. I'm not sure about custom mods or projects for AoE 2. The AI doesn't really seem to be the main issue there, though. It's just that the game state is really terrible. Like, horrendous amounts of upgrades and automation and ridiculously tanky castles and stuff. Everything feels really weird as well. Like, the fact that so many of the races or civilizations or whatever you want to call it, the sides, the factions, are like basically clones of one another, except some of them just have different units. Like, I really dislike that approach. I like fundamentally disagree with that approach to designing tech trees, because it does make every single faction feel the same, but the differences that are there matter in tremendous ways in niche scenarios. So it's like sometimes this difference will be like insanely different and super impactful, and other times it just won't matter at all. Like some of them have like, oh, here's a faction that is much harder to convert. So if you don't use monks or priests or whatever to convert them, then that doesn't matter at all. Like, okay, that's really nice that they have just a global niche, like I guess almost a passive upgrade or whatever that completely changes the way a certain mechanic interacts with them, but otherwise is completely useless. Like has no effect. It's really dumb. So yeah, I think it's just like a waste of time, to be honest. What does it take to put an LP in the shit campaign category? Basically, shit campaign is like, it's just when I don't want to play anymore. It's like, that's basically the just let me play of campaigns, and just let me play is the shit campaign of real games, of proper LPs. Oh, yeah, and then I gotta roll you. Hold on. There you go. You're in, dude. Welcome to the club. Mind tyrants. Kind of like the idea of Uprust Creek with the ability to get any race. Yeah. So you talked earlier about Wait, what did you say earlier? You've mentioned the campaign being user select, ability to pick any race. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. So like here in this page, you can see that one of the goals is to it's basically these last two goals right here are kind of similar, but specifically this one is like very explicit, where it says create a foundation for a potential user select campaign, as well as a promising setting for future installments. My thinking is we should have a faction or a group, like an organization of some sort, that both facilitates the large scale nature of our RTS missions. So the faction needs to be very sprawling and powerful and you know, have a large military, and also allegiances with the set, like you know, those exotic pairings, which is what the second point is about, where you get like Protoss fighting alongside Zerg or whatever. Now, a really easy one that I keep talking about is with this, the idea of a demiurge, the unit that doesn't require energy or anything to show things up here. Oh, by the way, table of contents is showing in the tech tree pages again. Veeq7. So yeah, like the basically we have demiurge, right? And the demiurge controls a lot of these things. Oh, holy shit, dude. try to read requires here. You like that?
Yeah, that needs adjusting.
Yeah, I think this probably needs slightly more spacing.
Yeah.
Well, Vision of the Future obviously just animated it. Didn't really try to justify it. I think the demiurge is like really easy for people to justify stuff like that, because if you consider like the fact that they force their enemies to be worshipped, or to worship the demiurge, like that's a really powerful passive. Obviously, it's like why it's an end game tech, or will be when it's implemented. But the like my thinking is we have we have the idea for this to essentially work as like a, because it's a mechanic in the game and you can use it, you will eventually, like when there's a demiurge that's created as a character in this campaign that we're going to be working on, or unearthed or whatever, it might be revealed that a demiurge already was already there, like it was already being used in the like leading one of the splinter factions of Protoss or whatever. That's a case where, okay, yeah, the demiurge can also just like take command of a Terran, and take command of like a Zerg brood or something. You know, like it has the potential to do that. You know. So because it has the potential to do that in the game, it's less of a stretch to imagine that it could do that in the lore, and that you would have this alliance that otherwise would not seem to make any sense at all between all three races. And then you could, in theory, be like playing as a character that is in service to this demiurge, that's worshiping this demiurge, and in a future campaign, it doesn't really matter what race you're playing as, because there's a leader for each race that is, you know, obviously answering to the demiurge, and so answers to them in that sense. And demiurges aren't implemented because we were supposed to do that for the Nemesis map, and obviously we were stuck on extenders. I think you were mostly busy throughout January anyway, so that was like where a lot of that came from. But yeah, we have to finish the extenders and make the AI stable and stuff before I feel comfortable adding any new units. Like I'm coming up with a bunch of unit concepts and whatever, but that will continue to mess around with stuff. And as far as naming the Reaver, there's a poll for that if you scroll down long enough. There's where is it? It's this poll right here. I hope it ends up being like either a Cantor or Magnicade. I feel like those are much more powerful than Cataphract, but people seem to be preferring Cataphract so far. So yeah. Pretty epic, IMO. So we're still figuring out the new font and all that shit, but see where it goes. Have you already hidden this article? Oh, it doesn't look like it. Maybe that's a little too large. Yeah, maybe we do just H2 it then. I forget what the center align thing is. Style equals text align center. units, quote marks. I'm not sure if that actually works. Does this work? No. Whatever. Not that big of a deal. We need to fraud Reaver's poll. Cataphracts are fast-moving heavy cavalry. Meanwhile, Reavers are slow-ass artilleries. I'm mostly thinking of Cataphract as like armored cavalry, like heavily armored cavalry, which Reavers are. And to their credit, like I think because the Reaver requires a new structure, they already have the updated plasma shell thing going on for them. But I think they probably should be a little tankier, like maybe 2 armor instead of 1, as an example. In fact, I was thinking of making some slight balance changes going into this as well, if I go back to the current patch. Oh yeah, so this is still being renamed. This is Solarian now. Okay. But yeah, so I was thinking... So yeah, whatever we end up calling this will be like... I'll just call it Reaver for now, but obviously it'll be renamed eventually. I think it'll be like Armor, now 2 from 1. And then for Terran, I wanted to update the Penumbra as well. So I'm thinking like... Penumbra, HP now 450 from 500, and armor now 3 from 2. Maybe it'll even go lower, like maybe it'll be 400. And then what else is that? Like, what does that unit's cost? It's pretty pricey from what I remember, 450. We could probably drop the mineral cost to 400. But yeah, I'm not sure. A supply cost of 8 is pretty incredible, actually. Jump to... I mean, it's probably appropriate, given the unit's strength, but... Oh, apparently the unit never had armor. Even though the webpage says it has 1. Apparently it was at 0 this whole time. So let's go to the default. Yeah, it never actually had any armor. So this is just incorrect. But maybe that's still fine. I think 2 armor is pretty good anyway. Voted for everything you haven't voted for. Epic. Yeah, I'm mostly thinking of like, we definitely want the whole the idea for me is that it's like the heavily armored aspect to it. But I also think that like a Cantor is more poetic. I think for like I'll probably end up renaming the Barghest to something Latin as well, or at least giving the option there, because Barghest is like sort of like a miscreant, right? Which sounds appropriate as well. However, I like the idea of having an option to rename it to something a little bit different, and my thinking is like maybe like this also sounds a little bit too grandiose, but something along the lines of like Agent of the Apocalypse, you know, this bringer of doom or something. Something that like implies the fact like they're permanently cloaked, they're definitely profane. They're also like partially organic, which is probably the most profane aspect of the Barghest, and for my money, is the fact that they are part living. It's not really a Protoss necessarily, but it's engineered from a Protoss, and I think that's like a big component there. Let's check out what the polls look like post iQuare votes. Oh shit! Praetor started winning again. Fuck! Fix that.
Oh yeah.
Somebody fix that. Good. No, Praetor's such a shit name. Get it out. It's terrible. Seraph still winning. Line effect still winning.
So what should we do for the main page on the frostclub.com?
I can write some shit about that.
Cool.
That's just this index in the root, presumably.
Yep.
So how do I just style, or no, it's p, right? I have to p.
Yeah, P is for
style
property group.
equals, and then center, or it's like, fuck, what is it?
I
Center
should
on?
actually use class center text.
Oh, class equals center text, and then b.
You can use tab to expand tags. So if you write, for example, div and click tab, then it will automatically expand.
If I write what?
Div,
Oh,
for example,
ah, cool.
and click tab.
It'll automatically solve it.
Yeah.
I don't think medics. Yeah, I don't think medics can heal air units. Maybe we should change that. I didn't think about that. Today is definitely a day I would like to just work only on HYDRA stuff, but sometimes you just gotta cast CS. Okay, what do we got? Oh yeah, I was gonna grab the basic description. That looks like fucking gibberish. Right. Oh, I guess we don't really need a BR here. What was that tactic that we used to make it so that the target is blank? That's what it is.
Yep.
Make it open in a new tab. Oh, like the actual race names. I don't think I'm gonna go that far necessarily. But maybe. Could happen. I had not even thought of it, to be honest. I'm not sure if there's anything else that we should throw in here for links to find us in various positions.
I mean, you could technically add other people's YouTubes, I guess.
Oh yeah, I guess we can do.
Maybe the GitLab repos too.
We could do something like. Wait, isn't it? Ah! That didn't work. Well, I don't know.
I just type LA without the bracket.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's much faster.
That's what I did for the AC3 stuff. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, well, we already have that in Notepad, so.
Well, not really. But...
I mean, we have autocomplete, even if it's not using tab. Well, that's basically what a campaign is, though. I mean, I guess a map pack would just be like varying perspectives or something, or maybe not. Maybe it would be centered around a specific thing instead of being a campaign. I don't know. The lines get blurred if you're focusing on the same narrative or whatever, but I can see a reason to segregate them definitionally. But need to find. Oh wait, I actually have all my men here anyway, don't I? My social graveyard. Wait, who the fuck? There's a guy who is in my social graveyard, and his username on YouTube is just clown emoji. How did that happen?
I also send you the GitLab links.
Crazy. Wait, that's not Ikeware. Ikeware, where's your YouTube channel? I like how when I search Ikeware, I just get a lot of my own videos. That's pretty good. Oh, that's a cult system. Okay. Good to know that he changed his fucking thing. No, I just never ported it to 1.16.1 because every time I tried to start porting it, I was like, oh, I would like to make this so much better. I actually remade the map, like the actual layout. Don't know how good it would be now. But yeah, I just never ended up finishing it. Yeah, I guess I don't know if Ikeware even wants his YouTube channel on here since. Oop. Oh yeah. Okay. What do you think, Ikeware? And then I need. Obviously, I need Dynamo, Chalk, CUD Commander, Bait. Plus, I need 4 more. Graftware. Don't remind him. And this is Balethal. What was the other one? Oh, yeah. Okay. People's usernames on YouTube. I have like a million, so I can't realistically link mine. What were you saying?
Yeah, I was just talking about the target blank. Yeah.
Yeah. I know, homie. Okay. So I guess we can, I'll push this. Update in main index. Oh, now we need to finish fucking around with the font, I think. Whoa! The fuck? Why is the link so long? Hello? Why?
I'll fix it.
Okay. Thanks, homie. I guess in case somebody else, like UED Commander or whoever ends up making their own Discord server and they want it hosted here, that could also be done in the similar way that we have like YouTube and GitLab. But yeah.
Right.
It's not really needed right now because I don't think anybody actually has one. I guess Connor technically does have one. I'm not sure if it's still active. Oh shit! Cantavis back in the lead, where it belongs. So what were you? We were looking at like the font, yeah. So you can tell that like something is messed up with this naming thing because it bleeds out to a second line for robotics facility. But I feel like if we condense the spacing any further, it'll probably be unreadable. So. Oh, Cybernetics Core has the same problem. I mean, these things are going to get renamed eventually, but Archon Archives and Sanctum of Sorrow are also like that. Mind Tyrant. IMO. Oh yeah, what were my other lists? Refinery. Lame. Alright, well. I don't have too much more time before I've got to start bailing out for the sake of handling my casting stuff and getting some food. Is there anything in particular, Veeq, that you were thinking of that we haven't yet taken care of? I guess the table of contents.
Not really. I guess I can take a look on the to-do list.
Right, the website to-do list, Todo list.
I guess I will be fixing the font stuff, but that's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, the spacing issue on unit mouse over. Since we decided to stick with open sans and just like hard code
Right.
different spacings or whatever.
So what I'd recommend you to do if you still have time would be to move the installation guide and like the questions to the other page.
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely have time after I'm done casting at the very least, but
Right.
yeah, so that'll probably be
For
later
how
today.
long are you actually casting?
It's one best of 3, so I'll probably be going. Starting at 1 o'clock, which is in an hour and 20 minutes or so, and then after that, who knows? I'm thinking I'll probably be done by 5 because we do a little bit of wrap up and stuff. So yeah. Am I going to stream later? I might actually be crazy enough to do yet another mod stream in the same day. So maybe you'll catch me there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it, homies. So thanks everybody who popped in and hung out. And thanks to Veeq for working on HYDRA and the website and all that. Feels much better. I don't know about you, but I think the new look is pretty good. Like the new
I think so as well.
The structure is now like actually put together. So pretty nice. Yeah. See you later, boys.